Intercepted Vox transmission. 948.M41. Katar orbital space. Encrypted channel. Decryption took 6 months. Content. 8 billion dead serves the lesson better than 8 billion alive. Transmission was officially never received. Source signature matches Inquisitorial authority codes. This file concerns the Celestial Lions chapter, scrubbed from official casualty reports for a reason the Administratum would prefer you never discover. Official record states the Celestial Lions suffered combat losses on Armageddon, 9998.M41. 983 warriors deployed. 96 returned. Casualty rate, 90%. The Imperium called it war, filed it under acceptable losses, moved on. Orbital surveillance data, Vox intercept analysis, timeline reconstruction, and classified personnel transfers tell a different story entirely. This is forensic documentation of systematic chapter erasure spanning 50 standard years, involving multiple Imperial institutions, coordinated across sector boundaries, executed with precision suggesting decades of planning. Celestial Lions chapter history, founded 38th millennium, Imperial Fist's gene seed, assigned to Adeptus Violari, protecting Elara's veil. 4,000 years of loyal service documented, 0 instances of heresy, corruption, or disloyalty recorded. Standard chapter strength, 1,000 Marines. Deployment doctrine, rapid assaults, surgical strikes, combined arms coordination. Combat record, exemplary. Political record, vocal about imperial justice, willing to question orders contradicting Emperor's law. That last detail proved fatal. Katar insurrection, 948.M41. 5 companies Celestial Lions deployed under Inquisitor Apollyon's command. Mission parameters: crush planetary rebellion, restore imperial authority, secure corrupted priesthood. Rebellion involved Shrine World Katar, population 8 billion, major ecclesiarchy presence, extensive Imperial Guard and Planetary Defense Force infrastructure. Slaneshi corruption documented among planetary leadership and priesthood. Lions deployed, made planetfall against minimal orbital resistance, swept through opposition in 11 weeks. Engagement efficiency, 97% above projected timeline. Civilian casualties, minimal. Prisoners secured, 12,000, including corrupted priesthood. Lions' assessment, operation successful. Planet cleansed, population loyal. 48 hours after Celestial Lions' departure, orbital bombardment commenced. Cyclonic torpedoes impacted Katar's 3 major hive cities. Population centers vaporized, civilian infrastructure destroyed. 8 billion dead within 6 hours. Exterminatus authorization. Inquisitor Apollyon. Justification submitted to High Lords. Planetary corruption too extensive for conventional cleansing. Population tainted beyond salvation. Complete elimination necessary to prevent heretical spread. Captain Soul of Imperial Navy flagship attempted countermand. Argued population demonstrated compliance during Lions operation. Corruption eliminated through conventional military action. Apollyon overruled, citing Inquisitorial authority superseding Navy command structure. Post-exterminatus documentation reveals critical discrepancies. Lions after action report filed simultaneously with Apollion's justification. Content: rebellion defeated through conventional means. Corrupted elements eliminated. Civilian population cooperative with Imperial forces. Prisoners secured including key leadership. Planetary infrastructure intact and usable. Imperial Guard regiments deployed successfully without corruption. Spread: ecclesiarchy representatives confirmed heresy contained to priesthood leadership. Apollion's report claims opposite. Corruption spread throughout population. Civilian cooperation impossible. Infrastructure tainted. Conventional cleansing failed. Total elimination required. 2 contradictory reports submitted to High Lords. Standard Imperial procedure mandates investigation when Space Marine Chapter testimony contradicts Inquisitorial assessment. Investigation authorization requires Lord Commander Militant or Master of Administratum approval. Lions submitted formal complaint request simultaneously with after-action report. Complaint documented in chapter archives, including astropathic transmission confirmation codes, Terran reception acknowledgement, filing reference numbers. High Lord's response in official archives: 0 documentation exists. Lion's complaint received, acknowledged, filed, then disappeared from Imperial records. Captain Sol transferred frontier duty 6 weeks after Katar. Assignment: Void Patrol, Segmentum Obscurus, anti-piracy operations. Standard Navy career progression involves 6 to 8 years between transfers for officers of Sol's rank. Accelerated transfer raises questions. Personnel file accessed 949.m41 shows transfer authorization. New posting. Deployment orders. Same personnel file accessed 950.m41 shows data corruption affecting service record, current assignment listing, contact information. File reconstruction attempted 952.m41, declared irrecoverable. Current status of Captain Sol unknown. Last verified sighting 949.m41 departure for Obscurus posting. Similar pattern affects 17 other Navy personnel who witnessed Katar events. Forensic observation. Document suppression requires coordinated effort across multiple Imperial institutions. Astropathic transmission records maintained by Adeptus Astra Telepathica. Archive access managed by Administratum. File custody split between multiple organizations prevents single-point manipulation. Lion's complaint disappeared from archives maintained by separate institutions. Coordination suggests high-level authorization affecting multiple Adepta simultaneously. Authority level required: High Lords of Terra, or senior officials acting with comparable power. Alternative explanation: massive coincidence affecting multiple secure filing systems simultaneously. Forensic assessment: coordination probability exceeds 99%. Coincidence probability less than 1%. Delegation departed Elysium Nix. 949.m41. Strike cruiser manifest. 3 death speakers including Julkara, 4 war leaders including senior captains. Extensive documentation supporting complaint against Apollyon. Warp route filed with Navigator's House. Direct transit to Sol system. 47 standard days estimated duration. Route classified as stable with minimal warp turbulence. Vessel never arrived Terra. Reported missing 949.m41 after failure to make scheduled communications checkpoints. Search initiated across projected route. Wreckage discovered 951.m41. 12,000 light-years off course, deep in Orc-controlled void space. Wreckage analysis conducted by Mechanicus recovery team. Hull damage consistent with catastrophic Geller field failure. Warp energy penetration. Matter-reality dissolution. Interior condition. Crew remains genetically shredded. Equipment corrupted beyond salvage. Ship's log destroyed. Navigation data irrecoverable. Official conclusion: navigational disaster caused by warp storm. Geller field malfunction. Catastrophic systems failure. Lone bright spot: no evidence of weapons fire, suggesting natural disaster rather than hostile action. Case closed. Chapter tragedy filed. Investigation discontinued. Forensic review reveals problematic inconsistencies. Navigator House records for 949.m41 transit window. 17 vessels traveled parallel routes through same warp corridor. All 17 filed identical route classifications: stable warp, minimal turbulence, standard transit conditions. 0 reports of warp anomalies, spatial distortions, or unexpected phenomena. Standard Imperial protocol mandates immediate astropathic warning broadcasts when warp storms detected. Any navigator experiencing warp disturbance must transmit emergency warnings to prevent other vessels entering affected region. Total warp storm warnings filed during relevant transit period. 0. Lion's delegation disappeared without generating warnings, without affecting nearby vessels, without creating detectable spatial disturbances. Warp phenomena analysis. Natural warp storms affect regions measured in light years. Storms powerful enough to destroy vessels affect dozens of ships, create lasting spatial distortions, generate detectable energy signatures visible across sectors. Recorded instances of warp storms affecting single vessel while leaving nearby traffic unaffected. 0. Physical impossibility. Warp energy doesn't discriminate between targets. Storm either affects region or doesn't manifest. Precision targeting of single vessel contradicts fundamental understanding of warp physics. Alternative explanation. Artificial warp manipulation using prohibited technology. Archives contain references to warp reality manipulation devices capable of targeted vessel destruction. Classification level. Sigma and above. Access restricted to senior inquisitorial ranks. Statistical analysis compounds suspicion. Probability calculation. Single vessel experiencing catastrophic Geller failure during stable warp transit equals approximately 1 in 5,000 per crossing. Probability of failure occurring to vessel carrying testimony against Inquisitor during critical time period. Coincidence probability less than 0.001%. Probability calculation including 0 navigator warnings, 0 regional warp disturbance, precision targeting, approaches statistical impossibility. Forensic conclusion. Delegation destruction represents deliberate action rather than natural disaster. Chain of events examination raises additional questions. Delegation departs Elysium the next carrying documentation of Apollyon's actions, Lion's testimony, witness statements from Navy personnel. Vessel disappears during transit. 2 years pass before wreckage discovery. Location. 12,000 light-years off projected course. Deep in Orc territory. Distance represents impossible navigational error even during catastrophic Geller failure. Standard protocol during warp drive malfunction. Emergency translation to real space. Assessment of position. Calculation of corrective course. Vessel traveling 12,000 light-years off course requires sustained warp travel in wrong direction. Navigation equipment total failure. Crew unable to make course corrections. Scenario requires multiple simultaneous system failures across redundant backup systems. Lions continued demanding investigation, despite delegation loss. Chapter records document 50 separate formal complaints filed between 949.m41 and 998.m41. Recipients: High Lords of Terror, Lord Commander Militant, Master of Administratum, various segmentum commanders, ecclesiarchy leadership, even Adeptus Custodes. Pattern: every complaint acknowledged through astropathic confirmation, every acknowledgement followed by silence. 0 investigations initiated. 0 inquisitorial reviews conducted. 0 mechanicus analysis of exterminatus justification. Institutional response: complete bureaucratic stonewalling across 49 years. Investigation stonewalling analysis reveals coordination. Imperial institutions famously bureaucratic, slow, ponderous, but eventually responsive when Space Marine chapters demand answers. Standard processing time for Astartes complaints, 6 months to 2 years depending on complexity. Lion's complaints received immediate acknowledgement, followed by permanent inaction. Comparison: Crimson Fist's complaint regarding supply shortages, filed 965.M41, resolved within 18 months. Marines' Malevolent complaint regarding jurisdictional conflict, filed 973.M41, investigated and adjudicated within 14 months. Space Wolves' complaint regarding Months of Shame actions, filed 444.M41, resulted in major inquisitorial review within 3 years. Lions' complaints, 49 years, 0 substantive response. Data analysis. Complete institutional silence across multiple adepta suggests coordinated suppression rather than bureaucratic inefficiency. Administratum processes complaints mechanically. Mechanicus analyzes technical questions objectively. Imperial Guard investigates intelligence failures systematically. Lion's complaints touched all 3 institutions. All 3 maintained identical non-response pattern. Coordination requires authority overriding institutional protocols simultaneously across separate organizations. Alternative, spontaneous agreement among unrelated bureaucracies to ignore Space Marine chapter. Probability assessment. Coordinated suppression 98%. Spontaneous silence 2%. Third War for Armageddon provided final solution. 998 M41. Gazkul Mog, Uruk Thraka, returned to Armageddon with largest Orc Wa'a. In millennia. Imperial response, 25 Space Marine chapters deployed, dozens of Imperial Guard regiments, Titan legions, Navy battle fleets. Complete strategic commitment. Celestial Lions deployed full chapter strength minus training cadre on Elysium the 9. 983 warriors, complete command structure, supporting fleet elements. Assignment. Defend Hive Volcanus against Orc assault. Prevent enemy advance through Volcanus Mountains. Coordinate with Imperial Guard forces. Protect critical infrastructure. Discrepancy analysis begins with Katar. Official Inquisitorial report. Planet corrupted beyond salvation. Exterminatus justified. Celestial Lions after action report. Rebellion defeated. Civilian population cooperative. Prisoners secured. Captain Saul of Imperial Navy attempted countermand of bombardment orders. Record of his objection. Sealed. Current assignment. Unknown. Last verified posting. 949.M41. Transferred to Segmentum Obscurus Frontier Duty. Personnel file corrupted 6 weeks after transfer. Standard corruption pattern for witness elimination. Apollyon's justification submitted to High Lords. Heretical taint spread through civilian population. Complete cleansing required. Lion's counter-testimony submitted simultaneously. Corruption limited to priesthood and PDF command structure. Civilian compliance demonstrated. High Lord's response to Lion's complaint. No record exists. Complaint submission verified by chapter records, including astropathic transmission confirmation codes. Response filed. 0 matches in Terran archives. The delegation departed Elysium Nyx, 949.M41. Strike Cruiser Manifest, 3 Death Speakers, 4 War Leaders, complete delegation testimony documentation. Warp route filed with Navigator's House, direct transit to Sol System, estimated duration 47 standard days. Ship discovered 951.M41 in Orc-controlled void, 12,000 light-years off course. Gellerfield failure cited as cause. Navigator House records for that transit window. 17 vessels on parallel routes, 0 warp anomalies reported. Standard warp storm documentation protocol requires immediate astropathic warning to all nearby vessels and navigator houses. Total warp storm warnings filed during 949.M41 transit window. 0. Wreckage analysis. Hull damage consistent with ruinous warp exposure, no weapon signatures. Interior condition. Genetic material shredded beyond recovery. Official conclusion. Navigational disaster. Forensic reality. Warp storm that affected exactly one vessel, left no trace in surrounding space, generated no warnings, occurred nowhere near documented warp instabilities. Forensic observation. Warp anomaly affecting single vessel without regional navigator warnings represents statistical impossibility. Standard Imperial protocol mandates multi-ship warning broadcasts for any warp disturbance affecting navigation. Absence of warnings, combined with precision targeting of Lion's delegation, suggests artificial warp manipulation. Technology exists within Inquisitorial archives. Classified Sigma-level clearance. Investigation into responsible parties prevented by classification seals predating incident itself. 8 billion dead on Katar. Senior chapter officers lost in impossible warp incident. Lions continued demanding investigation for 49 years. Third War for Armageddon provided final solution. 983 warriors deployed to Hiv Volcanus, 998.m41. Intelligence briefings provided by Armageddon Command. Orc positions, strength estimates, construction status of enemy gargants, tactical recommendations. Each briefing proved catastrophically inaccurate. Pattern documentation reveals systematic intelligence manipulation across 3-month deployment. Timeline reconstruction. Armageddon deployment phase. Celestial Lions landfall. 998.m41. Third week of initial invasion phase. Assignment. High Volcanus Defense Sector. Western edge of Armageddon Prime continent. Strategic significance. Volcanus controls mountain passes, industrial output, void shield generators protecting surrounding territory. Orc assault pattern. Standard war tactics. Overwhelming numbers. Crude but effective siege warfare. Gargant construction in captured territory. Imperial defense strategy. Layer defense. Space Marine strike forces target high-value objectives. Guard holds defensive lines. Coordinate through integrated command structure. Initial deployment strength documented. 983 Astartes. Complete command hierarchy from chapter master through pride leaders. Full Apothecary contingent. Librarian detachment. Chaplaincy support. Fleet assets. Battle barge Serenkai. Strike cruiser Lavi. 9 additional escort vessels providing orbital support. Ground assault capability. Supply logistics. Command structure intact. All 10 companies represented. Experienced officers leading each formation. Decades of combat experience across command staff. Chapter deployed at peak combat effectiveness with full logistical support. First engagement occurred 7 days post-landfall. Volcanus Industrial Sector 6. Intelligence briefing provided by Armageddon Tactical Command. Sourced from Guard reconnaissance elements. Orbital surveillance data, local civilian reports. Assessment. Orc warband approximately 300 strong light armament concentration, minimal heavy weapons, priority target for elimination before entrenchment. Recommended approach. Single company assault, rapid strike. Secure industrial facilities, prevent Orc fortification. Tactical doctrine. Lions excel at rapid assault. Briefing matched chapter capabilities. Operation appeared routine. Actual engagement conditions. 4,000 orcs waiting in prepared positions. Heavy weapons emplacements pre-sighted covering approach routes. Kill zones established with fields of fire, calculated for Space Marine tactics. Ambush sprung precisely when Lions committed to assault, suggesting enemy possessed advance warning of attack timing. Approach vector, unit strength. Lions casualties, 47 dead including 1 war leader, 89 wounded requiring immediate evacuation. Enemy casualties, estimated 800 orcs eliminated before Lions withdrawal. Tactical outcome, mission failure, industrial sector remained in enemy control. Lions suffered disproportionate losses. Intelligence discrepancy analysis. Briefing estimated 300 orcs. Actual strength exceeded 4,000. Error margin 1,300%. Standard Imperial reconnaissance accuracy, plus or minus 15% for enemy strength estimate. Orbital surveillance thermal imaging detects large concentrations of biological targets. Auger arrays count individual signatures. Reconnaissance teams provide ground truth verification. Technology and methodology proven across millennia of warfare. 1,300% error exceeds all reasonable margins for reconnaissance failure. Alternative explanation: intelligence deliberately falsified or reconnaissance data suppressed. Lions Command filed immediate inquiry regarding intelligence failure. Response from Armageddon Tactical Command: operational security concerns prevent detailed intelligence source disclosure. Reconnaissance difficulties in urban environment acknowledged. Recommendations to deploy larger force for future engagements. Investigation into intelligence failure declined. Pending war conclusion. Standard procedure when Space Marines report intelligence discrepancies. Immediate investigation. Source verification. Correction of analysis methods. Lions request denied. Pattern established for subsequent operations. Second engagement occurred 12 days post-landfall. Intelligence briefing. Imperial Guard position under siege. Coordinates provided. Friendly forces confirmed holding. Reinforcement requested. Enemy strength moderate. Relief force success probability rated high. Lions deployed 4 complete companies to coordinates. Standard reinforcement doctrine. Rapid assault to break siege. Link with Guard forces. Establish defensive perimeter. Assault force included 3 war leaders, 12 pride leaders, significant portion of chapter combat power. Actual conditions. Guard position overrun 14 hours before Lions' arrival. Bodies still warm, indicating recent completion of massacre. Orc forces evacuated position and deployed in surrounding buildings anticipating reinforcement attempt. Kill zone established with coordinated fields of fire. Heavy weapons positioned covering all approach routes. Thousands of orcs waiting in ambush. Lions' tactical doctrine requires rapid assault on siege positions. Doctrine assumes accurate intelligence regarding friendly force status. Doctrine fails catastrophically when relieving overrun positions against prepared ambush. Casualty count second engagement. 112 dead, including war leaders Dukambe, Vakembe, and Vularak's predecessor. 203 wounded. Chapter strength reduced from 936 to 824 combat-effective warriors within 12 days. Casualty rate approaching 12% in less than 2 weeks. Standard Space Marine combat loss rate during equivalent high-intensity operations, 3 to 5% across similar timeframe. Lions suffering casualties at triple standard rate. Timeline discrepancy documentation. Guard position fell at 0800 hours local time. Lions reinforcement order issued at 1200 hours, 16 hours post-massacre. Intelligence briefing provided at 1400 hours, claimed Guard still holding as of 1200 hours. Orbital surveillance, communications intercepts, and ground reconnaissance all available to tactical command. Guard position transmitted final distress call at 0743 hours. Signal went dead at 0807 hours. Tactical command possessed definitive knowledge of position's fall, yet issued reinforcement order claiming friendlies still alive. Temporal discrepancy. 16 hours of confirmed knowledge suppressed in briefing materials. 3rd through 16th engagements follow identical pattern. Intelligence consistently underestimated enemy strength by factors ranging from 300 to 800%. Friendly force positions reported as held when actually overrun hours or days previously. Enemy fortification status reported as minimal when actual defenses included extensive entrenchment. Orc movement patterns predicted incorrectly, routing Lions into prepared positions. Recommended assault routes led directly into kill zones. Strategic objectives identified as vulnerable proved heavily defended. Each engagement resulted in disproportionate casualties relative to expected resistance levels. Comparative analysis examining other chapters operating on Armageddon during same time frame reveals stark contrast. Black Templars' intelligence accuracy, 92%. Flesh Tirers, 89%. Blood Angels, 91%. Marines Malevolent, 87%. All chapters receiving intelligence from same tactical command structure, same orbital reconnaissance assets, same communications networks. Lions intelligence accuracy, 17%. Statistical analysis. Probability of random intelligence degradation affecting single chapter, while 24 others receive accurate information, approaches 0. Probability of deliberate targeting approaches unity. Temporal inconsistency. Communications timing patterns reveal systematic delays. Standard Imperial protocol. Emergency requests receive priority processing. Responses transmitted within minutes. Tactical updates distributed hourly. Strategic assessments provided every 6 hours. Lions emergency requests during first month, 27 filed. Average response time, 4 hours, 18 minutes. Black Templars emergency requests same period, 31 filed. Average response time, 41 minutes. Flesh Terrors, 23 requests, 37 minutes average. Blood Angels, 18 requests, 33 minutes average. Statistical variance analysis. Lions response times represent outlier beyond 6 standard deviations from mean. Probability of occurrence through random communication delays, less than 0.0001%. Vox traffic forensic analysis conducted post-conflict reveals additional evidence. Imperial communications route through cogitator banks, prioritizing requests by urgency coding, unit identification, mission parameters. Lions requests consistently received lowest priority despite identical urgency codes compared to other chapters. Manual override required to deprioritize automated systems. Investigation of communications personnel. 17 staff transferred within 6 weeks of Lions' departure. Destinations include frontier postings requiring 6 months transit, isolated garrison assignments, Schola Progenium instruction positions. 3 deceased within 3 months post-transfer. Causes listed as pirate raid, accidental fall, transport malfunction. 2 disappeared during routine void transit, declared lost with all hands. Pattern recognition indicates systematic personnel elimination. Standard munitorum procedure when erasing evidence. Transfer witnesses to isolated locations. Wait minimum 30 days to establish separation from original incident. Arrange accidents appearing unrelated to prior assignment. Corrupt personnel files during transfer processing to eliminate. Investigation trails. 17 communication staff exhibiting identical transfer disappearance pattern suggests coordinated operation. Personnel possessed direct knowledge of intelligence manipulation affecting Lions, represented liability requiring elimination. First month casualties accumulated. 318 dead, approaching 1/3 chapter strength. Surviving officers recognized pattern. Filed formal complaints with Armageddon High Command, demanded investigation into systematic intelligence failures. Response. Complaints acknowledged. Investigation promised. No action taken. Lions continued operations under degraded intelligence conditions while awaiting investigation results. Investigation never materialized. Month 2 casualties. Additional 214 dead. Month 3. Preparation for Mannheim Gap operation. that would devastate remaining chapter strength. Mannheim Gap mission briefing received week 12 of deployment. Intelligence assessment. Orc warlord Thogfang constructing Gargants in Canyon Stronghold. Gargants currently inactive and incomplete. Vulnerability window exists before construction completion. Recommendation for immediate assault to destroy scrap titans before operational status achieved. Force recommendation. 500 Marines sufficient for objectives. Rapid strike doctrine appropriate. Anticipated resistance moderate. Assessment classified optimal conditions for Lion's tactical strengths. Rapid assault. Overwhelming force application. Target destruction before enemy consolidation. Intelligence assessment timestamp examination reveals critical discrepancy. Mission briefing prepared and distributed 36 hours before delivery to Lion's command staff. Orbital reconnaissance data supporting assessment collected 68 hours before briefing preparation. Thermal imaging conducted during reconnaissance clearly shows Gargant power signatures indicating operational status, active force fields, weapon systems energized. Assessment briefing presented Gargants as inactive and under construction. Reconnaissance data directly contradicted briefing conclusions. Someone reviewed thermal imaging, prepared intelligence assessment, deliberately omitted Gargant operational status from briefing materials distributed to Lions. Second engagement. 12 days post-landfall. Intelligence brief. Reinforcement mission to besieged Imperial Guard position. Coordinates provided. Friendly forces confirmed holding. Lions deployed 4 companies to coordinates. Guard position already overrun, 14 hours prior. Orc forces waiting in prepared positions. Casualty count. 112 dead, including 3 war leaders. Lion's tactical doctrine emphasizes swift assault, decisive engagement, rapid withdrawal. Doctrine requires accurate intelligence. Third engagement through 16th engagement, similar pattern. Intelligence consistently underestimated enemy strength, provided outdated friendly force locations, routed Lions into prepared kill zones. Total casualties first month, 318 dead. Casualty rate, 32% chapter strength. Standard Space Marine casualty rate for equivalent operations, 8 to 12%. Discrepancy. Lions taking casualties at triple standard rate, while receiving intelligence from same sources serving 24 other chapters on Armageddon. Vox traffic analysis, weeks 5 through 8. Standard Imperial Communications Protocol. Tactical updates transmitted hourly. Strategic assessments transmitted every 6 hours. Emergency requests expedited immediately. Lions communication patterns. 27 emergency requests filed. Average response time 4 hours 18 minutes. Black Templars emergency requests same period. 31 requests filed. Average response time 41 minutes. Flesh Tearers 23 requests. Average response time 37 minutes. Blood Angels 18 requests. Average response time 33 minutes. Statistical analysis. Lions receiving responses at rate 9 times slower than average across other chapters. Communications routed through same command structure, same cogitator banks, same personnel. Technical malfunction cited for delays. Malfunction affected exclusively Lions transmissions across 73 separate incidents. Data analysis. Communication delays follow precise pattern suggesting selective processing. Cogitator systems prioritize requests by multiple factors including urgency coding, unit identification, mission priority. Lions requests consistently deprioritized despite emergency status codes. Manual intervention required to override automated priority systems. Investigation of communications personnel transfers following conflict. 17 staff transferred within 6 weeks of Lion's departure, 12 to distant frontier postings, 3 deceased in unrelated incidents, 2 disappeared during routine transport. Third month deployment. Mannheim Gap mission brief received. Orc Gargants under construction in Canyon Stronghold. Currently inactive, vulnerable to assault. Recommendation: strike before activation. 500 Marines sufficient for elimination mission. Intelligence assessment timestamp. Mission briefing. Prepared 36 hours pre-delivery to Lion's command. Orbital reconnaissance data timestamp. 68 hours pre-briefing. Thermal imaging shows Gargants already operational during reconnaissance. Briefing presented Gargants as inactive. Someone reviewed thermal data. Prepared briefing. Deliberately omitted operational status. 500 Celestial Lions entered Mannheim Gap based on false intelligence. All senior officers accompanying assault force. Gargants waiting in prepared positions, targeting exact ridge where Lions planned assault deployment. Evidence Layer 1. Mannheim Gap Massacre Forensics. Assault commenced 0600 hours local time. Mannheim Gap Assault Day. Lions deployed 500 warriors along northern ridge overlooking Gap terrain. Force composition. Entire surviving chapter leadership. 4 complete companies. Supporting elements including librarians, chaplains, apothecaries, tech marines. Deployment represented majority of chapter combat power committed to single operation. Tactical assessment. Overwhelming force application justified by intelligence indicating high-value targets. Operation expected to conclude within 4 hours. Rapid withdrawal anticipated before Orc reinforcements arrived. Initial deployment proceeded according to doctrine. Companies established positions along 2-kilometer ridgeline, providing elevation advantage. Clear fields of fire, dominated terrain controlling gap approaches. Gargants visible in canyon below, massive scrap iron constructs towering 50 meters, weapons systems apparent, force field generators identified. Visual reconnaissance contradicted intelligence assessment, claiming construction incomplete. Officers noted discrepancy, proceeded with assault based on force superiority and element of surprise intelligence promised. Gargants opened fire 0603 hours, 3 minutes after Lions achieved final positions. First salvo targeted command elements, with precision suggesting advanced knowledge of Lions' tactical doctrine, officer positioning protocols, communication hub locations. War leader Vularak killed instantly 0609 hours, crushed and consumed by warlord Thogfang emerging from Gargant command throne. Remaining war leaders directing companies from forward command positions. Standard doctrine for maintaining tactical flexibility became priority targets for coordinated Gargant fire. Gargant targeting analysis reveals impossible precision. Orc Gargants typically employ suppressive fire, area saturation, crude targeting approximating enemy positions. Mannheim Gap Gargants demonstrated pinpoint accuracy targeting specific individuals among mass Space Marine formations, distinguishing officers from standard warriors at ranges exceeding 800 meters, compensating for terrain and movement patterns. Targeting capability exceeds Orc technological standards by orders of magnitude. Alternative explanation. Gargants directed by non-Orc intelligence source possessing knowledge of Space Marine tactical organization, officer identification methods. Command structure vulnerabilities. Orc response pattern indicates extensive pre-positioning. Lions expected element of surprise, anticipated destroying inactive Gargants before enemy response developed. Actual Orc deployment, Gargants fully operational and waiting, crews at combat stations, weapons armed and targeted, force fields energized to maximum strength. Response time from Lions deployment to Gargant fire, 3 minutes. Standard Orc crew preparation time for Gargant operations, 30 to 60 minutes minimum. Orcs demonstrated instantaneous combat readiness impossible, without advance warning of attack timing and location. Buried tunnel network erupted 0627 hours, 24 minutes into engagement. Thousands of orcs emerged from concealed positions behind Lions formations, cutting off retreat routes, establishing encirclement, creating tactical kill zone. Tunnel network extent, 4-kilometer distribution across multiple emergence points. Estimated 50,000 cubic meters of excavation. Sophisticated construction including support structures preventing collapse, concealment efforts preventing surface detection. Orc engineering capability. Crude excavation. Minimal structural support. Obvious surface disturbance, easily detected through basic reconnaissance. Technical forensics. Tunnel detection analysis reveals systematic reconnaissance failure. Mannheim Gap surveyed 17 separate times during 3-month deployment period. Survey methods included orbital auger scanning, thermal imaging, seismic analysis, ground-penetrating radar, visual reconnaissance. Technologies proven to detect subterranean structures larger than 10 cubic meters. Tunnel network, total volume, 50,000 cubic meters, distributed across 4 kilometers. Detection probability using standard Imperial methodology, 99.9%. Actual detection instances, 0. 17 surveys failed to identify construction detectable through multiple redundant methodologies. Survey data examination reveals additional discrepancies. Orbital auger scans conducted by Navy vessels supporting ground operations. Scan results transmitted to Armageddon Tactical Command for analysis and distribution. Lions received reconnaissance summaries, not raw scan data. Summaries consistently reported no subterranean activity detected, no anomalous thermal signatures, no structural indications of fortification. Post-conflict review of surviving orbital scan records shows thermal anomalies consistent with extensive underground excavation. Seismic patterns indicating tunnel construction. Structural voids clearly visible in auger penetration data. Reconnaissance data existed. Conclusions drawn from data deliberately omitted critical findings from summaries distributed to Lions. Combat deteriorated rapidly following tunnel emergence. Lions' tactical doctrine emphasizes mobility, rapid repositioning, coordinated fire and maneuver. Encirclement eliminated mobility advantage, forced static defense, negated tactical flexibility. Orc numerical superiority became decisive factor. Estimated Orc strength participating in ambush, 15,000 warriors, vastly exceeding intelligence assessment. Lions fought for 3 hours 40 minutes, inflicted massive enemy casualties, maintained formation cohesion despite hopeless tactical situation, conducted fighting withdrawal under overwhelming fire. Final casualty count Mannheim Gap, 402 dead, 91 wounded sufficiently severe to prevent immediate combat effectiveness. Survivors fought through Orc encirclement to base camp outside Gap. Camp assault commenced 1400 hours, 6 hours after initial engagement. Orcs demonstrated knowledge of base camp layout impossible through standard reconnaissance. Targeted exactly 3 ammunition supply caches most critical for sustained defense. Medicae station preventing casualty treatment. Vehicle park eliminating mechanized withdrawal capability. Targeting precision suggests detailed intelligence on Lion's base organization. Base camp layout classified information distributed exclusively to Lion's personnel and Armageddon Tactical Command. Standard Imperial Security Protocol. Operational plans maintained on secure cogitator networks. Physical distribution limited to need-to-know personnel. Enemy access prevented through encryption and compartmentalization. Orcs demonstrated precise knowledge of facility layout, supply locations, critical infrastructure placement. Knowledge source. Either Orcs conducted impossible reconnaissance penetrating space marine security, or tactical command provided intelligence to enemy forces. Weapons signature analysis. Critical forensic evidence obtained from recovered casualties. Sniper fire casualties during base camp assault, 37 confirmed dead. Weapon signature analysis conducted on 17 recovered remains. Wound patterns consistent across all samples. Focused LAS beam penetration. Specific targeting of helmet eye lenses, armor seal points, joint gaps in powered armor. Penetration depth indicates military-grade power cells. Focused beam coherence, precision targeting capability. Weapon identification. Imperial pattern long-last sniper rifle, identical to models issued to Imperial Guard, designated marksman units and Tempestus scions. Orc small arms inventory, slug throwers firing ballistic projectiles, crude construction, poor accuracy, high cyclic rate compensating for marksmanship limitations. Orc energy weapons, plasma and laser variants demonstrating unstable output, poor beam coherence, excessive power consumption. Orc precision marksmanship capability, effectively non-existent. Orcs compensate for poor accuracy through volume of fire. Mannheim Gap sniper casualties. Every shot precise kill targeting specific vulnerable points. Marksmanship indicating expert human training. Weapon signatures identifying Imperial manufacture. Apothecary targeting pattern provides critical evidence of systematic elimination. Lions deployed 12 apothecaries to Mannheim Gap operation. Sniper fire killed 6 during base camp assault. Lifebinders K2 targeted but survived initial assault only to die following morning. 5 additional apothecaries eliminated during 3-hour engagement. Targeting priority analysis. Apothecaries represent approximately 2% of Lion's force composition. Random targeting probability for apothecaries, 2%. Actual apothecary casualties among sniper victims, 16% of sniper kills. Statistical variance, 8 times higher than random distribution predicts. Apothecary function criticality, gene seed recovery from fallen warriors, chapter rebuilding capability maintenance, genetic heritage preservation. Eliminating apothecaries prevents gene seed harvesting, ensures permanent casualties rather than recoverable losses, cripples chapter rebuilding potential. Targeting demonstrates understanding of Space Marine organization, gene seed significance. Long-term strategic thinking. Orcs lack capacity for strategic personnel targeting, demonstrate no interest in Space Marine biological materials, would target visible threats rather than medical personnel. Targeting pattern indicates non-orc origin with specific knowledge of Space Marine vulnerabilities and long-term objective of permanent chapter elimination. 986 Marines escaped Mannheim Gap, retreated to high Vulcanus defensive positions. Chapter strength reduced from 983 to 986 combat effective warriors across 3-month deployment. Casualty rate, 90.2%. Lions maintained tactical cohesion, established defensive perimeter, requested support from other chapters operating on Armageddon. Flesh-tearers unable to render assistance due to own operational commitments. Black Templars preparing system departure, pursuing Ghazkul's fleeing forces. Lions effectively isolated, unsupported, facing final extinction. Last surviving apothecary, Lifebinder K-Tuk. Sole remaining chapter member capable of gene seed recovery, rebuilding facilitation, genetic heritage preservation. Chapter's future completely dependent on K-Tuk's survival and ability to harvest gene seed from fallen warriors scattered across Armageddon battlefields. Discovery 0700 hours morning after base camp assault. K-Tuk dead. Body slumped against Land Raider within Lion's defensive perimeter. Loss burned through right temple indicating point-blank execution. Gene seed supplies carried in apothecary equipment stolen. Execution methodology analysis. Shot placement indicates professional assassin training. Point-blank range suggests close approach before killing shot. Position within defensive perimeter demonstrates infiltration capability. Lion's defensive arrangement. Marines positioned every 30 meters, overlapping sight lines, sensor coverage, patrol patterns preventing blind approaches. Standard Space Marine sensors detect human-sized targets at 50 meters. Augmented hearing identifies footsteps at 100 meters. Olfactory enhancement detects human scent at similar ranges. Infiltrator approached Apothecary, positioned within meters of target, executed precise killing shot, escaped with gene seed supplies, evaded detection by superhuman warriors specifically trained to prevent infiltration. Capability assessment. Infiltration success requires nullifying Space Marine sensory advantages, defeating patrol patterns, bypassing security measures, executing target without alerting nearby warriors, exfiltrating successfully. Capability level matches Officio Assassinorum Calidus grade operatives specialized in infiltration or Vindicare snipers with stealth training. Orc infiltration capability 0. Orcs lack subtlety. Stealth training. Patience required for infiltration operations. Physical construction prevents silent movement. Crude technology detectable through augmented senses. Behavioral patterns incompatible with covert operations. Gene seed theft represents definitive proof of Imperial involvement. Orcs demonstrate zero interest in Space Marine genetic material, lacks utility for Orc physiology, cannot be weaponized through Orc technology, serves no purpose within Orc cultural values. Theft indicates thief understood gene seed significance for chapter rebuilding, specifically targeted remaining Apothecary to prevent recovery operations, possessed knowledge of gene seed storage methods and transport containers. Knowledge level requires familiarity with Space Marine organization. Apothecary functions. Gene seed protocols. Source: Imperial intelligence regarding Astartes capabilities, not Orc battlefield scavenging. Evidence Layer 2. Personnel pattern analysis. Katar Operation Command Structure Examination reveals systematic reward and punishment pattern. Inquisitor Apollyon. Requisitioned 5 companies Celestial Lions for planetary assault. Authorized exterminatus eliminating 8 billion civilians. Claimed total corruption justified complete cleansing. Post-Katar career trajectory. Promoted to Senior Inquisitor status within 2 years. Expanded authority across Ultima Segmentum. Granted command over multiple Ordo operations. Awarded commendations for decisive action against heresy. Career advancement pattern consistent with successful high-profile operation, eliminating major threat. Captain Saul, Imperial Navy Fleet Commander, witnessed Katar operation firsthand, attempted countermand of bombardment orders, argued civilian population demonstrated compliance during Lion's campaign, filed objection to exterminatus authorization, claiming unnecessary destruction. Post-Katar assignment. Transferred frontier posting Segmentum Obscurus within 6 weeks. Reassigned to anti-piracy void patrol in isolated sector. Removed from major fleet operations. Personnel file accessed 949.m41 shows standard transfer documentation. Same file accessed 950.m41 exhibits catastrophic data corruption affecting service record, current assignment listing, contact information, next of kin data. File reconstruction attempted 952.m41. Declared irrecoverable. Current status unknown. Last verified sighting 949.m41 departure for Obscurus assignment. Pattern analysis. Authority figure supporting exterminators receives rapid promotion. Expanded power, recognition. Naval officer questioning exterminators eliminated through transfer, file corruption, disappearance. Standard inquisitorial procedure when witnesses represent problematic testimony, reward cooperation, eliminate dissent, corrupt records preventing future investigation. 17 additional Navy personnel serving under Saul during Katar operation Exhibit similar transfer disappearance pattern within 18 months of planetary destruction. Armageddon Command Personnel Investigation reveals extensive post-conflict reassignments. Tactical Command Staff assigned intelligence analysis, deployment coordination, communications management during Lions deployment. 147 officers documented. Post-war personnel movements analyzed across 2-year window following conflict conclusion. 23 officers transferred within 2 months of Lions evacuation from Armageddon. Transfer destinations. 12 frontier postings requiring 6 months minimum void transit. 8 reassignments to training facilities in distant segmentums. 3 promotions requiring immediate relocation off-planet to assume new commands. Pattern analysis. Authority figure supporting exterminators receives rapid promotion, expanded power, recognition. Naval officer questioning exterminators eliminated through transfer, file corruption, disappearance. Standard inquisitorial procedure when witnesses represent problematic testimony, reward cooperation, eliminate dissent, corrupt records preventing future investigation. 17 additional Navy personnel serving under Seoul during Katar operation exhibit similar transfer disappearance pattern within 18 months of planetary destruction. Armageddon Command Personnel Investigation reveals extensive post-conflict reassignments. Tactical Command Staff assigned intelligence analysis, deployment coordination, communications management during Lions deployment. 147 officers documented. Post-war personnel movements analyzed across 2-year window following conflict conclusion. 23 officers transferred within 2 months of Lions evacuation from Armageddon. Transfer destinations. 12 frontier postings requiring 6 months minimum void transit. 8 reassignments to training facilities in distant segmentums. 3 promotions requiring immediate relocation off-planet to assume new commands. Standard military reassignment rate analysis. Comparable command staff across equivalent operational theaters demonstrate 4 to 6% annual transfer rate. Armageddon tactical command personnel associated with Lions operations. 15% transfer rate concentrated in 6-week window. Statistical variance. Transfer rate 3 times higher than baseline. Temporal concentration suggests coordinated personnel movement rather than routine rotation. Alternative explanation. Coincidental mass reassignment affecting specific personnel group during specific time frame. Probability, less than 2%. Deaths documented among Lions-associated personnel reveal suspicious pattern. Navigation officer aboard Lions delegation, strike cruiser. Deceased, warp exposure during catastrophic Geller failure. Ven transferred frontier duty week 13. Assigned isolated garrison world requiring 8 months void transit. Killed pirate raid 3 months after arrival. Pirates eliminated by Navy patrol 3 days later. No survivors to interrogate regarding raid motivation. Coincidence. Ven transferred to remote location. Killed shortly after arrival. Attackers eliminated before questioning. Second complaint filed by Captain Helena Strask. Communications Division. Documented systematic delays affecting Lions emergency requests. Provided statistical analysis demonstrating response time variance. Recommended investigation into cogitator prioritization systems. Complaint filed week 11 of deployment. Acknowledged. Investigation pending. Strask transferred Scholar Progenium instructor position week 14, reassigned to Forge World Training Facility. Deceased 1 month later, accidental fall from observation deck overlooking training grounds. Witnesses reported apparent stumble. Investigation concluded death accidental. Pattern. Filed complaint. Transferred rapidly. Died in apparent accident eliminating testimony. Complaint documentation status. Both formal complaints sealed by Inquisitorial Order Week 16 of deployment, 2 weeks before Mannheim Gap assault. Current location: unknown. Classification level: prevents access below Vermilion clearance. Sealing occurred before Lions near destruction, suggesting preemptive evidence suppression independent of Mannheim Gap outcome. Decision to classify complaints indicates advance knowledge that Lions would not survive to pursue investigation. Alternative explanation requires coincidental evidence suppression unrelated to impending chapter elimination. Bureaucratic pattern examination. Witness elimination follows documented munitorum erasure protocol used for sensitive personnel removal. Standard procedure. Step 1. Transfer witness to isolated posting far from original assignment. Establish geographic separation. Step 2. Minimum 1-month delay before secondary action creates appearance of unrelated incident. Step 3. Arrange accident or combat casualty in new location, eliminates witness while appearing natural. Step 4. Corrupt personnel files during transfer processing, destroys investigation trail connecting incidents. Step 5. Classify any remaining documentation, prevents future researchers accessing evidence. Pattern documented across 40-year period, affecting 43 individuals directly connected to Katar operation or Armageddon Lions deployment. Coordination requires authority overriding military assignment systems across Navy, Imperial Guard, Administratum filing networks. Single rogue officer lacks capacity for multi-decade systematic operation. Coordination level suggests Lord Inquisitor authority or coordinated Inquisitorial cabal maintaining operational security across institutional boundaries. Black Templar's investigation provides external verification of systematic targeting. Reclusiarch Merrick Grimaldus received hololithic message from Death Speaker Julkara prior to final Mannheim assault. Message content preserved, Grimaldus. They lied to us about the Mannheim Gap. They sent us here to die. You know of whom I speak. We cannot outrun the echoes of Katar. We pay the price now for our virtue in the past. Message timestamp: 0500 hours assault day. Recorded before Lions deployment to Gap. Julkara died in assault 0700 hours. Message retrieved by Grimaldus post-engagement. Grimaldus investigation authorized by Black Templars High Marshal Helbrecht included examination of Lions communications records, intelligence briefing materials, tactical command decision documentation. Investigation results: officially classified, unofficially confirmed systematic intelligence manipulation. Identified personnel involved in briefing preparation. Documented timeline discrepancies proving deliberate falsification. Templars provided material aid to surviving Lions, including strike cruiser Blade of Seventh Son gift, Apothecary support for rebuilding, chapter assistance during return to Elysium Nines. Inquisitorial response to Templar investigation. 0 official acknowledgement. No formal inquiry. No challenges to investigation findings. Unofficial pressure documented through 8 separate incidents affecting Black Templar operations across following decade. Incidents include intelligence support degradation during anti-heretic operations, delayed reinforcement authorization during critical engagements, supply requisition complications affecting fleet operations, bureaucratic obstacles hindering recruitment efforts. Pattern suggests institutional pressure applied to discourage further investigation while avoiding direct confrontation with first founding chapter successor. Comprehensive timeline analysis spanning 50 years reveals coordinated multi-phase operation targeting Celestial Lions. Incident sequence. Katar Operation 948.M41 establishes initial conflict. Delegation Destruction 949.M41 eliminates senior leadership testimony capability. Continuous bureaucratic stonewalling 949998. M41 prevents investigation. Armageddon deployment 998.M41 provides combat cover for final elimination. Post-Armageddon Dubaku assassination confirms vendetta persistence into post-Great Rift era. Duration represents longest continuous anti-Astartes operation in documented Imperial history, exceeds previous record by 32 years. Resource commitment analysis reveals massive institutional investment. Minimum requirements. Inquisitorial authority sufficient to order exterminatus and override naval objections. Access to officio assassinorum assets including Vindicare snipers and Collidus infiltrators. Control over Armageddon Tactical Command Intelligence Distribution Systems. Influence over Administratum File Management and Corruption Protocols. Coordination across multiple military commands spanning Navy, Guard, Space Marine deployment operations. Authority level required. Lord Inquisitor minimum. More likely coordinated Inquisitorial cabal, with multiple members contributing specialized capabilities. Single rogue Inquisitor scenario examination. Individual Inquisitor possesses authority for exterminatus under specific circumstances, lacks capacity for 50-year systematic operation affecting multiple sectors, cannot coordinate personnel transfers across separate military branches, unable to. Corrupt administratum files without institutional support, insufficient influence to suppress High Lord's investigation for decades. Conclusion. Operation required multiple inquisitors working coordination, suggesting cabal formation specifically targeting Lions or using Lions as demonstration project. Phase 1 operational analysis, Katar incident, established justification for chapter targeting. Lions deployed to crush rebellion, accomplished mission efficiently with minimal civilian casualties. Apollyon ordered population elimination despite Lions' assessment showing rebellion defeated and civilians cooperative. Lions objected publicly, damaged inquisitorial reputation, questioned exterminatus necessity. Objective. Silence Lions permanently, while demonstrating consequences of challenging Inquisition publicly. Method. Establish Lions as problematic chapter requiring correction. Create justification for future actions, damage chapter credibility before eliminating chapter existence. Phase 2 operational analysis. Delegation elimination. Remove Lions' ability to petition High Lords directly. Prevent senior officers delivering testimony. Eliminate witnesses to Katar conditions. Warp Storm destroys strike cruiser carrying complete documentation of Apollyon's actions, kills all senior death speakers and war leaders capable of presenting case to Terran authorities. Timing, within 1 year of Katar, prevents Lions building political support, eliminates testimony before High Lords potentially initiate investigation. Method demonstrates capability for artificial warp manipulation, suggests access to prohibited technology, classified above standard inquisitorial clearance. Phase 3 operational analysis. Continuous suppression. Lions filed 50 separate complaints across 49 years, each acknowledged through astropathic confirmation, each resulting in 0 substantive action. Suppression required coordinating responses across High Lords of Terror, Lord Commander Militant, Master of Administratum, Ecclesiarchy Leadership. Segmentum Commands. Coordination sustained across 49 years, through multiple regime changes, across different High Lords' tenures. Institutional inertia alone insufficient to explain consistent non-response. Alternative. Each complaint actively suppressed through intervention preventing investigation initiation. Phase 4 operational analysis. Armageddon deployment. Chapter elimination under combat conditions providing plausible deniability. Third War's chaos allows attributing deaths to legitimate combat. Orc casualties mask systematic targeting. Intelligence manipulation invisible in chaotic war zone environment. Deployment assignment. Lions sent to Hiv Vulcanus, most dangerous sector, facing largest orc concentrations. Intelligence support. Systematically compromised through false briefings, outdated reconnaissance, suppressed warnings. Asset deployment. Vindicare teams disguised as orc snipers eliminate apothecaries, preventing gene seed recovery. Collidus assassin infiltrates base camp executing final apothecary and stealing genetic material. Timeline efficiency. 3 months transforms full chapter to 96 survivors. Efficiency demonstrates professional execution, advanced planning, resource commitment ensuring objective completion. Comparison. Standard Space Marine casualty rate 90% requires catastrophic defeat, complete tactical collapse, overwhelming enemy superiority maintained continuously. Lions suffered 90% casualties while maintaining tactical cohesion, fighting disciplined withdrawals, demonstrating combat effectiveness. Casualty rate achieved through systematic intelligence manipulation, not combat inferiority. Phase 5 Operational Analysis. Post-Armageddon elimination, Lions reduced to minimal strength, rebuilding on Elysium Knights with Black Templar support, no longer represents significant threat. Logical conclusion. Vendetta concluded. Lions sufficiently punished. Inquisition moves on. Actual outcome. Dubaku assassination century after Armageddon during meeting with Emperor's Spear's chapter master. Collidus assassin infiltrated as servant to Mentor's chapter observer Amadeus Caius Incarius. Assassination occurred during strategic conference regarding Elara's veiled defense against Chaos Exilarchy invasion. Assassination timing analysis. Galaxy split by Great Rift. Imperium Nihilus isolated. Elara's veil facing existential chaos threat. Lions working to defend Imperial territory despite minimal strength. Strategic situation demanded every available Marine defending against chaos. Yet Inquisition deployed Collidus assassin, eliminating Lions chapter master during crisis. Decision prioritizes 50-year-old vendetta over military necessity during galaxy-wide emergency. Reveals vendetta maintenance across institutional memory despite complete personnel turnover, suggesting either original conspirators still active or vendetta embedded in institutional protocols. Temporal discrepancy. Gap between Katar incident 948.m41 and Armageddon deployment 998.m41 spans 50 years. Lions continuously demanded investigation throughout period. Inquisition possessed 50 years to resolve situation through negotiation, arbitration, High Lord's intervention. Chose systematic erasure instead. Decision suggests either extreme institutional paranoia or Lions possessed information too dangerous to allow survival. Katar population total, 8 billion. Standard exterminatus requires High Lord's approval unless planet already lost to chaos. Approval documentation for Katar, classified above Vermilion clearance. Either approval existed and reveals problematic justification, or approval never obtained and exterminatus represented illegal action requiring permanent witness elimination. Chapter near extinction creates secondary problems. Celestial Lions, part of Adeptus Violarii, sworn protectors of Elara's Veil alongside Emperor's Spears and Star Scorpions. Scorpions already lost to gene seed degradation. Lion's destruction leaves Veil critically undermanned. Inquisition accepted weakening Imperium's border defenses to eliminate embarrassing witnesses. Strategic decision prioritizes inquisitorial authority over military necessity. High Command either approved weakening defenses or remained ignorant of inquisitorial actions against Astartes chapter. Both scenarios represent critical institutional failure. Who benefited? Inquisitorial authority consolidation. Primary beneficiary. Inquisitorial institution. Lion's public challenge to Apollyon's exterminatus order created dangerous precedent. Space Marines questioning Inquisitorial judgment threatens fundamental power balance. Adeptus Astartes' autonomous military force, theoretically outside Inquisitorial jurisdiction. Practically, Inquisitors frequently requisition Astartes' support, issue operational directives, coordinate strategic deployments. System functions through mutual respect and recognized authority. Lion's challenge destabilized relationship by demonstrating Astartes' willingness to question inquisitorial decisions publicly. Demonstrate consequences, discourage future challenges. Lion's near destruction sends clear message to other chapters. Oppose Inquisition, face systematic elimination. Effectiveness, measurable. Post-Armageddon. Documented instances of Astartes publicly challenging inquisitorial authority, down 73% compared to pre-Katar baseline. Success achieved through terror rather than legitimate authority, indicates institutional insecurity, suggests Inquisition recognizes limitations of actual authority over Astartes, but cannot acknowledge limitations publicly. Secondary beneficiary. Apollyon personally. Lyons demanded investigation into his actions. Successful investigation threatens Apollyon's career, potentially life. Exterminatus performed without proper authorization results in execution even for inquisitors. Destroying Lyons eliminates primary witnesses to Katar population's actual condition. Dead witnesses cannot testify. Stolen gene seed prevents chapter rebuilding, prevents future Lions from pursuing investigation. Benefit extends beyond Apollyon to inquisitorial colleagues supporting him. Evidence suggests Apollyon coordinated with other inquisitors, shared information, received support throughout 50-year operation. Classification rationale. Files sealed even from routine inquisitorial review suggests hidden vulnerability. Standard inquisitorial operations documented in Ordos archives, accessible to investigators checking for abuse. Katar files sealed beyond normal classification. Someone invested significant authority ensuring details never surface. Sealing predates Lyon's delegation departure, meaning decision to bury evidence occurred immediately after Exterminatus. Advanced planning indicates premeditated cover-up, not reactive response to Lyon's complaints. Tertiary impact. Institutional precedent. Successful chapter elimination without consequences establishes template for future operations. Other inquisitors observe, challenge from Astartes handled through systematic destruction, High Lords never intervened, Officio Assassinorum cooperated, Imperial Guard intelligence networks compromised successfully. Template provides roadmap for dealing with problematic chapters. Danger. Precedent invites abuse, encourages inquisitors to pursue feuds rather than negotiate disagreements. Threatens Imperium's military effectiveness by subordinating strategic considerations to institutional power struggles. Emperor's Spear's current involvement. Dubaku's assassination occurred during meeting with Spear's chapter master aboard strike cruiser Hex. Calidus assassin disguised as servant to Amadeus Caius Incarius from Mentor's chapter. Incarius legitimately unaware of assassin infiltration. Mentor's chapter's role. Unclear. Possibly infiltrated. Possibly complicit. Investigation ongoing. Assassination demonstrates Inquisition maintained vendetta even century after Armageddon, even after Lyons reduced to minimal combat effectiveness, even when Lyons working to defend Imperium in post-Rift conditions. Vendetta prioritized over military necessity during galaxy-wide crisis. Official narrative. Celestial Lions suffered combat losses during Third War for Armageddon through combination of tactical misfortune, Orc tactical competence, occupational hazards of Space Marine warfare. Katar Exterminatus justified by heretical corruption requiring complete planetary cleansing. Delegation lost to warp storm. Unfortunate navigational accident. Intelligence failures on Armageddon resulted from chaotic combat conditions. Inadequate reconnaissance. Orc deception capabilities. Evidence analysis. Official narrative requires accepting 17 statistically improbable coincidences occurring sequentially across 50-year period. Probability mathematics. Individual unlikely events occasionally occur. 17 sequential unlikely events affecting single chapter suggests pattern, not coincidence. Warp storm, affecting exactly Lion's delegation. Individually plausible. 0 navigator warnings for alleged storm suggests artificial causation. Lions receiving intelligence degraded relative to other chapters, individually explainable. Pattern affecting exclusively Lions across 3-month deployment suggests deliberate targeting. Orc sniper alternative. Orcs demonstrated sniper capabilities in subsequent conflicts, including confirmed commando units with precision weapons. However, Mannheim Gap timeline predates widespread Orc sniper deployment by 12 years. Orc technical capability evolves through experimentation. Mechboy innovation. Lucky accidents. Mannheim Gap snipers demonstrated professional-grade marksmanship. Imperial weapon signatures. Precision targeting of specific personnel types. Capability appeared suddenly, disappeared after Lion's evacuation, never documented in prior Orc engagements on Armageddon. Alternative explanation. Orc snipers existed but coincidentally deployed against Lions with unprecedented effectiveness using captured Imperial weapons. Probability assessment. Less than 1%. Chain of custody failure. Gene seed theft from K-Tuk represents critical evidence of non-Orc involvement. Orcs value weapons, technology, combat trophies. Orcs demonstrate zero interest in Space Marine gene seed. Biological material lacks utility for Orc physiology, cannot be weaponized through Orc technology, serves no purpose in Orc culture. Theft indicates thief understood gene seed's value to chapter rebuilding, specifically targeted final Apothecary to prevent recovery. Knowledge level and motivation indicates Imperial agent, not Orc. Natural disaster alternative, perhaps series of unfortunate events genuinely afflicted Lions without conspiracy. Statistical analysis. Calculate probability of all documented incidents occurring randomly across 50-year period affecting single chapter. Variables. Warp storm probability absent navigator warnings. Intelligence degradation affecting single chapter while 24 others receive accurate information. Sniper casualties among apothecaries at rate 17 times higher than random targeting. Gene seed theft by enemy demonstrating. Zero prior interest in such material. Probability calculation. Less than 1 in 40 million. Alternative. Coordinated operation targeting specific chapter. Probability. Approaches unity. Sealing files protects multiple institutions simultaneously. Inquisition. Prevents exposure of illegal exterminatus. Unprovoked chapter elimination. Abuse of authority across 50 years. Officio Assassinorum. Conceals deployment of Imperial assassins against loyal Astartes chapter. Participation in illegal operation. Violation of Assassinorum Charter limiting targets to enemies of Imperium. Administratum. Hides file corruption facilitating cover-up. Personnel reassignments eliminating witnesses. Complicity in evidence destruction. Imperial Guard. Protects officers who provided falsified intelligence. Conceals coordination between Guard Command and Inquisitorial operation. Prevents investigation into systematic betrayal of Space Marine allies. High Lords of Terror. Documentation proves either High Lords approved operation against loyal chapter, representing catastrophic abuse of authority, or Inquisition operated without High Lords' knowledge, demonstrating institutional independence threatening Imperial command structure. Either scenario politically unacceptable. Sealing files prevents awkward questions about oversight failures, institutional accountability, limits of inquisitorial authority. Easier to classify evidence than address systemic corruption. Secondary classification purpose. Prevent Astartes retaliation. Full disclosure of systematic betrayal risks, triggering conflict between Space Marine chapters and Inquisition. Black Templars already suspicious, aided Lions rebuilding despite Inquisitorial pressure. Emperor's spears witnessed Dubaku assassination. Entire Imperial Fist's lineage shares brotherhood bonds. Information spreads through chapter networks. Widespread knowledge of Lion's true fate could unite chapters against Inquisition, potentially fragmenting Imperial military command during critical period. Classification trades truth for stability, protects institutions at expense of justice. Signature verification. Individuals authorized to seal files at Vermilion Plus classification include Lord Inquisitors, High Lords of Terror, Senior Administratum officials with segmentum-level authority. Katar files sealed within 72 hours of exterminatus. Speed suggests pre-positioned authorization. Advanced planning for evidence containment. Classification predates Lion's formal complaints, proving cover-up initiated before chapter raised objections. Advanced planning indicates guilty knowledge of wrongdoing, premeditated evidence destruction, institutional conspiracy rather than reactive damage control. Perpetuation mechanism. Classification self perpetuates through institutional inertia. Original conspirators likely deceased after 50 years. Current file custodians maintain seals without knowing original rationale. Standard procedure. Maintain existing classifications unless compelling reason for review. Lions nearly extinct. Investigation unlikely. Maintaining seals costs nothing, avoids institutional embarrassment, prevents awkward questions. Bureaucratic incentives favor classification permanence regardless of original justification. Truth buried beneath administrative convenience. Evidence compiled demonstrates systematic operation targeting celestial lions across 50-year period. Katar exterminatus eliminated 8 billion potential witnesses to whatever truth Apollyon sought to hide. Delegation destruction prevented Lions reaching High Lords with testimony. Armageddon deployment reduced chapter from full combat strength to 96 survivors through intelligence manipulation. Assassin deployment, coordinated betrayal. Dubaku assassination proves vendetta continued into post-Rift era despite chapter's minimal threat level. Responsible parties. Inquisitor Apollyon. Primary architect. Coordinating inquisitors, unnamed but documented through communication intercepts. Officio Assassinorum elements, deployed Vindicare and Collidus assets. Armageddon tactical command staff, provided falsified intelligence. Administratum officials. Corrupted files and facilitated cover-up. Mentors chapter, possibly infiltrated or willingly complicit in Dubaku assassination. High Lords of Terror, either authorized operation or failed to prevent subordinate institutions conducting illegal chapter elimination. Current status. Celestial Lions rebuilding under Chapter Master appointed after Dubaku's death. Strength classified, but estimated under 200 Marines. Black Templars provide ongoing support. Emperor's Spears Alliance maintained despite assassination during joint operations. Inquisition maintains surveillance. Purpose unclear. Threat assessment. Lions lack strength for retaliation. Focus resources on Ilara's Veil defense. Vendetta apparently concluded through simple attrition. Unresolved questions. Katar's true condition before exterminatus. 8 billion dead represents enormous civilian casualty count, requiring extraordinary justification. Lions claimed population cooperative, corruption limited. If Lions correct, Apollyon committed genocide against loyal imperial citizens. War crime exceeding standard inquisitorial authority. What did Katar know? What did Lions witness? Why kill 8 billion to bury evidence? Justice probability, effectively 0. Responsible individuals dead, transferred, or protected by institutional power. Evidence sealed, witnesses eliminated, files corrupted. Lions lack strength to demand investigation. Imperial institutions lack incentive to pursue truth. Cover-up succeeded completely. Lesson delivered to other chapters. Challenge Inquisition. Face erasure. Institutional authority preserved through systematic betrayal and murder. Imperium tolerates this because Imperium requires Inquisition, requires Astartes, cannot afford conflict between them. Truth sacrificed for stability. 8 billion dead plus 900 celestial lions represent acceptable cost for maintaining institutional power balance. This file documents what Administratum denies occurred, what Inquisition will never acknowledge, what High Lords cannot afford to investigate. Classification ensures this documentation follows pattern of evidence suppression, enabling original conspiracy. Record preserved not for justice, but for posterity. Someone must remember what they did to the lions. Someone must preserve the truth they tried to bury. End transmission file. Status: sealed verification. Code: Sigma 9, null clearance violation log.